Hey everybody, a warm welcome to the show. I'm Rebecca McLaughlin-Easton, and this week I'm coming to you from Abu Dhabi's Mina Port, one of the oldest ports in the United Arab Emirates. In this episode, we're dining out and about, sampling some of the finest local seafood on offer. A little bit later on, I have a very special lunch date with world-famous Japanese chef Nobu as he returns yet again to these shores. And we take a boat ride from the coast of Fujairah to meet a Scotsman who established the UAE's first oyster farm. But first, let me introduce you to a chef who cooks for rock stars and Oscar winners, and he believes that the magic ingredient in his cooking is love. Arguably, the most famous global name associated with high-end, innovative Japanese cuisine is Chef Nobu Matsuhisa. The 70-year-old became something of a culinary icon for his traditional Japanese fare with a Peruvian influence, and dishes like his much-copied miso black cod. Celebrities flock to his restaurants, which span the US, Europe, Asia, South America, and the Middle East. And Robert De Niro has been his business partner since their first venture around 25 years ago. The duo expanded into the hotel business in 2013 and have a Saudi Arabian property in the works. Nobu's passions extend to film, and he's made cameo appearances in movies including Memoirs of a Geisha, Casino, and Austin Powers Goldmember. Despite his achievements, he's always been notoriously humble, putting his brand's success down to his use of the finest ingredients available and cooking from the heart, or as the Japanese say it, Kokoro. Nobu is a frequent visitor to the UAE to oversee operations at his eponymous Dubai venue, and I joined him for a day, heading from his restaurant in Atlantis to the Emirates waterfront fish market, where we toured the facility, which was brimming with daily catches. After Nobu had given a Japanese masterclass to employees at the market, he prepared a selection of yellowfin tuna and Japanese red snapper for lunch. He then spoke to Inspire about his most famous dishes and his friend, De Niro. Nobu-san, thank you for speaking to me today.
My pleasure.
Talk to me about the provenance of the ingredients that you use in the dishes in your restaurants around the world. How important a part does sustainability play?
I understand a lot of people worry about the fish for keep next generations, but now it's all over the world, especially the Japan. So a lot of fish farm. Even I did the tuna, so 100 kilo the tuna, the bluefin. So they grow in the fish farm in Nagasaki. Even the red snappers, shrimps, and especially the salmons are growing all over the world. People know how to keep fish for next generations.
What about right here in the UAE? How easy is it, for example, for you to source local, sustainable, and seasonal produce?
Like I was here the last year, the fish market, and also I know that Dubai almost 20 years. So 20 years ago, it's never see like this kind of scenes, because look at this, all the fresh fish, and also maybe they're not only local, maybe imported the fish also. Our restaurant also they bring fish from Europe, from Japan, also use local fish.
Some analysts out there say that fish stocks are depleting so rapidly that in the coming decades, there could be no future for Japanese restaurants, the end to sushi as we know it. Tell me they're wrong.
I don't think so, because the fish is all over the world. A lot of different countries start growing farm fish.
Your business model is now expanded to hotels and you're opening up in Riyadh. My question is, why the hotel business, and do you have plans for more Middle East expansion?
I am Japanese. I like to introduce all the Japanese cultures. It's like food, and also restaurant business is like hospitality business, the passion. Japanese say the Kokoro. When the customer is coming to restaurant, I like to see the smiling face from a guest. So it means we're gonna make the good food, so good service. Customers makes happy, start smiling. I like to guests to stay like a home. So it means good hospitality So Japanese call it kokoro.
Talk to me about black cod, one of your most famous dish, the miso black cod. It's loved the world over, but many other restaurants now claim it. Do you feel this is a compliment to you? Is it flattering, or is it something else?
I so much honor the pride, like I have the people's copy to my recipe. The guests like it. The good food is like automatically so inspired to all over the world. I'm so much proud of myself.
Can I ask you what Michelin as an institution means to you? Is it an outmoded concept?
I'm not looking for the Michelin star because guests to come, make reservations, they want to enjoy the food. And especially my way, I like to make them feel more comfortable.
Robert De Niro is, of course, your business partner. He loves Japanese food almost as much as you do. Tell me about how you came to get into business together.
He traveling all over the world, and also he knows good food all over the world. He have a good taste. And also, he looking for the healthy food also. He asked me to open the restaurant in New York. We very much for the fit, like his philosophy is my philosophy. And now we do the business all over the world. And, he's, for me, very comfortable person, good partner, and a good friend.
When you're together, what does he particularly like you to prepare for him?
He eat almost everything except the shellfish, oysters. But he likes sashimi, he likes black cod, and he eat almost everything, my food.
Nobu-san, thank you so much for today's interview.
Arigato
gozaimasu.
Thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu.
It's perhaps a widely held belief that oysters are best cultivated in cold, deep, dark waters. But one aqua farmer is looking to challenge that theory. He's growing oysters up to 4 times faster and 30% bigger than the average industry rate. And he's doing it right here in the UAE's warm waters, which is also where much of the seafood you see behind me comes from. Salima Saeed has the story.
Under the sea is where seafaring farmer Rami Murray tends to a secret colony of oysters. Clusters of the mollusks hang like lanterns 4 meters deep across 100-meter lines in the deep waters of the UAE's Dibba Bay in the northern emirate of Fujairah. Oysters are more commonly cultivated in the cooler waters of Europe and North America, and Rami says his 4-year-old farm was a pioneering effort.
When I first started, and the first thing people say is like, oh, oysters can't grow in warm water, they must be rubbish. And that was just like the default. And then you ask people, I talk to chefs, they're like, why do they not grow in warm water? Nobody could tell me why.
The Dibba Bay farmer now produces up to 100,000 oysters per month. Importing Pacific Bay oyster spats from Europe, originating from Japan, he cultivates the adaptable species in the UAE to yield their own qualities.
So I would say the primary difference between ours and ones from Europe is they're much firmer. And so it's a slightly different texture, and it's more like a piece of meat that you can actually bite into, and there's a crunch.
So we set sail to pursue the fastest aquatic farm-to-table experience, with oysters shucked on board to get the freshest flavors, seasoned by the Gulf of Oman.
They could be born from the same place, the same genetic makeup, but look and taste quite different, because the majority of what makes an oyster is its environment.
These filter feeders, quite literally, take in their surroundings, and Rami says Dibba Bay's waters give the shellfish a mightier size and white pearls. While most oysters need years to reach full maturity, at Dibba Bay, they only need about 8 months according to Rami, due to the region's year-round warm climates and abundance of nutrients in the water, which means Gulf oysters are opening up an even wider market than ever before. Harvesting monthly, Rami is looking to scale up his production to 150,000 oysters per month. Currently, he serves mainly UAE restaurants and hotels, and is looking to expand to Russia and Europe. A 2-kilometer boat ride away is one of Rami's first customers, and Chef Georgie buys up to 200 oysters a week, and they fetch up to $25 a dozen in local supermarkets. So he and I cleaned up and dressed up for a fine dining experience. In France, flat-shelled Bellon oysters are known for their seaweed and hazelnut accents. and Japanese Yatsushiro Bay oysters carry a sweet, briny flavor. And from next door, Chef Georgie says Remy's oysters have their own palatable properties.
Compared to the other oysters, the taste of the Diba Bay oysters is quite intense, but not overwhelming. It's not so the salinity level, the acidity level is still there, but it's not going overpowering each other. So for me, it's giving a great opportunity to play a lot with the different recipes, with the different ingredients.
To bring out their flavor, Chef uses an Arabic spicy emulsion, pickled Lebanese chilies, finished off with a spray of lime foam, which he says encourages appetite and balances the salinity. Oysters contain all 9 essential amino acids that our bodies need, according to some medical journals, and they're rich in protein and omega-3s. Perhaps implying that shellfish from the Gulf region have more to bring to the table than previously thought.
Well, that is a wrap of our show for this week. We do hope that you enjoyed it. And before I tuck into the catch of the day from these local waters, here are some Instagram posts that caught our attention this week. I'll see you next time. Chef Bader from Kuwait shared his recipe for mussel sliders with tartar sauce. Abdullah from Jordan posed with this impressive catch whilst at the Mina Fish Market in Abu Dhabi. And Oluwatabi from Nigeria enjoyed an evening of fine dining at Nobu's Dubai restaurant.